The Chicago Coalition for the Homeless is just one group working with the city's homeless population. One Heart, One Soul is a local group that runs programs to raise awareness on homelessness and other social issues. One of these programs, Unspoken Words, a voice for homeless youth, had an 8-week stint at a shelter on Chicago's South Side. For WBEZ, Elizabeth Alfano visits that shelter to learn how art helped the young residents tap into their pasts.
I arrive at the Belfort shelter in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood, not knowing exactly what to expect. I've never been to a homeless shelter before and didn't consider that there are homeless shelters just for youth. It's here that the Unspoken Words program allows residents to confront their situations through visual art, photography, dance, and spoken word. The shelter is dorm-like, except that it's clean and smells of warm cookies.
Who did that? I'll tell you.
Mariah Trejo is founder of One Heart, One Soul and the director of the Unspoken Words program. She's hanging out with some of the homeless youth.
Good morning, Jeremiah. Rise and shine.
Who are just rolling out of bed. It's about 11 a.m. Trejo says she started the program because it taps into a topic not always discussed.
I was kind of thinking about what is the issue between youth homelessness and why have we not really heard about it, and how can we get them to speak out. With my passion for art, I knew that that would be a great way to help them express themselves and at the same time get businesses and communities involved.
The class I visit is the last in Unspoken Words' 8-week session, and its focus is poetry. Spoken word artist Marco Malpia leads it.
I grew up right here in Bronzeville in Ida B. Wells housing projects. But while I was going through school, nobody really knew my story. You know, I used to have social workers coming to school. You know, people knew that wasn't my parent, you know. And pretty much I would go home and there would be no food in the house. And so my grandmother wasn't really having that. So she reported, you know, it to the state.
Malpia's personal story draws out the youth, creates a comfortable space so they can share the details of their lives.
No, my mama kicked me out when I was 18, and I'm almost 21. So I've been alone for like 2 years now.
That's Angeline White. She goes by the name Casey.
The me being gay thing and trying to have my freedom with that she didn't like. She can't whip me anymore because I don't stay there.
Jason Curtis tells his story.
I grew up very rough. So I started selling drugs, and my mom was selling her body just to keep food and a roof over our head. And my father got out. He managed to get a little job then, and when he passed away, she went to a highly strung out drug binge.
After telling his story, Jason just stares with huge, vacant eyes. Malpia chimes in with how the poetry can help heal.
Poetry, I found myself. I was able to search and get answers to a lot of questions that I had growing up. Why can't they see that my dad is on drugs and my mother has schizophrenia? But you think I'm the problem? And nobody understood. But I get the writing. And it seemed like the paper and the pen, it always understood. It always had an open ear, and I could always express myself.
Malpia doesn't teach poetry. He preaches poetry.
I want to give to you the beauty of poetry. Today's class is going to be everything that you make it. If you make it powerful, you put your heart into it, then you're going to get back whatever you put into it.
He surveys the class to learn how much poetry they know. One student, Jeremiah Jenkins, compares it to rap music. Casey, who talked about being gay and her struggles at home, gets something else from the words.
You can make it up, but the way you make it up, you will make people feel it. And then if it's real emotion, you got that extra punch, and it make people want to cry. Like, if I could bring a tear to your eye, then I know my words about.
Malpia teaches the classics and the elements of poetry. Things like themes, rhythm, symbolism. But mostly, he wants to tap into those senses, the emotion. what poetry can unleash for the young people and their audience.
Wordsworth, he defined poetry as, love this definition, the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. I'm going to say that again. The spontaneous. What is spontaneous? Unpredictable. Poetry is unpredictable. You can't allow them to see you coming. You hear me?
And now, an assignment.
Let's dig into what youth homelessness looks like, what it smells like, what it tastes like. You know, let's talk about those 5 senses. Let's use some of those elements we discussed.
When it comes to reciting their work, a few of the young poets are more shy than others. Jason Curtis goes first.
This poem is called An Interjectory Thought. Made this a few days ago. It was based on me actually being homeless and actually making it to somewhere. So it goes like, I stand atop this mountain peak, cold and weary, awaiting the sun. I see the rise in the horizon with clouds behind it. The smell of rain threatens my nose, and I see lightning that blinds my blinking gaze.
Casey writes about one of her best friends.
Called 9 years old. It's like 9 years old. 9 years old, body cold, sold on the streets of Chicago. Whenever the money calls, I answer and follow the lingering voice, not by choice, but by the will that has been instilled within me. At 9 years old, hopping in and out of cars, ended up behind bars because I was charged with prostitution. I didn't understand what I was doing because my mind was clouded by my pimp's pollution. She said we needed money and this was the solution. I pretended this was a war and I was a part of the revolution.
Jeremiah has cold feet, but musters the courage, starting in song, to read his poem.
I'm sorry, Mama. I never meant to hurt you. But tonight, I'm cleaning out my closet. 'Cause I finally got tired of the way you treated me, but never forgot all the ways you beat me. So for now, I'm leaving you before.
The poems show a willingness by the youth to talk about their past and a determination to move ahead. Marco reinforces this goal.
Get out of the past. No excuses. Is life difficult? Yeah, it can be difficult. Can it throw you curveballs? Yeah. Being homeless, is that it? No, that's not easy. However, for some reason, these are the cards. So, what are we going to do with it? We're going to focus on the future.
Some of the students of the Unspoken Word program say sharing their stories is therapeutic. Casey explains.
It helps me so much because during the week, something happened that hurt me, and then I'll be like, oh, I can't wait till Saturday so I can just paint, or I can't wait till photography so I could take pictures of stuff. Like, I look forward to the program every Saturday.
Student Jeremiah Jenkins has discovered something he never knew was there.
I actually got talent in it, and that if I want, I could turn and make it like a career.
And Jason, the one with the huge vacant eyes, he remains stoic.
And just keep writing until I find out, like, my true purpose.
And that story was produced by Elizabeth Alfano. She's the creator of the TV and web series Fear No Art Chicago. You can read and hear poems from the Unspoken Words program at wbez.org/848.